Hey everybody, welcome back to Board Online, Board Offline for part 3 of our Lord of the Rings, the card game card close-up. This will be the final part in the series for the card close-up part of the series, I should say. We're going to look at the encounter cards today. You're going to notice that I did not cover objective cards because some people may want to keep those spoiler-free, because the way I played through the first time was I just looked at what was necessary to set the scenario up and then took it as it came after that. I didn't really look to see what was going to happen. And so if anybody wants to play it that way, I'm not going to be putting the spoilers out there, even though this game came out, I think in 2011. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the encounter cards. So without anything else, let's get right into it. Okay, so let's start with the enemies from the Passage Through Mirkwood encounter deck. You can see he has an engagement level of 5. He has a 3 threat level, 3 attack, 1 defense, 2 health. And this is called the East Bite Patrol, and you'll get 1 of these in the deck. And he does have a shadow effect. Attacking enemy gets +1 attack. If this attack is undefeated, also raise your threat level by 3. Next we've got the Black Forest Bats. You'll have 1 of these, a engagement level of 15, 1 threat, 1 attack, 0 defense, 2 health. And when revealed, each player must choose 1 character currently committed to a quest and remove that character from the quest. And we've got the Forest Spider. You get 4 of these guys, and he has an engagement level of 25, 2 threat, 2 attack, 1 defense, 4 health, and forced. After Forest Spider engages a player, it gets +1 attack until the end of the round. And a shadow effect. Defending player must choose and discard 1 attachment he controls. Okay, and then moving on to some locations. There are going to be 4 locations that come in this deck. Old Forest Road, 1 threat, and it's going to take 3 progress tokens to get past. Response: after you travel to Old Forest Road, the first player may choose and ready 1 character he controls. So traveling here actually can be beneficial. There's 2 Old Forest Roads, by the way, and then you've got the Forest Gate. You get 2 of these as well, 2 threat level. It takes 4 progress tokens to get past it. Response: after you travel to the Forest Gate, the first player may draw 2 cards. So you can see this deck, all of the enemies pretty much are going to engage when they come out, and traveling to the locations is not so bad. Moving on to the Doba Orcs deck, you're going to actually have 14 total cards in this deck. 6 of them are going to be enemies. Starting here with Doba Orcs, you're going to have 3 of those. They have a 10 engagement level, 2 threat, 2 attack, 0 defense, 3 health. When revealed, the first player chooses 1 character currently committed to a quest. Deal 2 damage to that character. And then its shadow effect: attacking enemy gets +1 attack and +3 if the attack is undefended. Next we've got the Doba Beastmaster, a engagement level of 35, 2 threat, 3 attack, 1 defense, 5 health, and forced when Doba Beastmaster attacks, deal it 1 additional shadow card, which can be pretty devastating sometimes. And you're going to have 2 of these guys. And the final enemy in this deck, also at 35 engagement, is Chieftain Ufthak. 2 threat, 3 attack, 3 defense, 6 health. And Chieftain Ufthak gets +2 attack for each resource token on him, and he gets a resource token after every time he attacks. This guy can boost up very quickly, but you can see he is worth 4 victory points. Moving on to the locations, you've got 4 location cards total. You get 2 of the Enchanted Stream. It has 2 threat, takes only 2 progress tokens to get past it. And while Enchanted Stream is the active location, players cannot draw cards. Then we've got Necromancer's Pass. You have 2 of these as well. Has 3 threat, takes 2 progress tokens. Travel: the first player must discard 2 cards from his hand at random to travel here. And then finally moving on to the Treachery cards. We're going to have 4 total Treachery cards here. You've got Driven by Shadow. When revealed, each enemy and each location currently in the staging area gets +1 threat. until the end of the phase. If there are no cards in the staging area, driven by shadow gains surge. Then it does have a shadow effect as well. Choose and discard one attachment from the defending character. If this attack is undefended, discard all attachments you control. And the other treachery in this deck, there's 3 of these. The Necromancer's Reach, when revealed, deal 1 damage to each exhausted character. Now let's look at the Spiders of Mirkwood. You're going to have a total of 12 cards in this deck. 4 of them are going to be enemies, starting here with the King Spider, who has 20 engagement cost, 2 threat, 3 attack, 1 defense. He has 3 life. When revealed, each player must choose and exhaust 1 character he controls, and he has a shadow effect. Defending player must choose and exhaust 1 character he controls. 2 characters instead of this attack is undefended. Now we've got Golian Spawn, 32 engagement, 3 threat, 5 attack, 2 defense, 9 health. Oh, and with the King Spider, by the way, you get 2 of those. You only get 1 of this guy, thank goodness. When revealed, each character currently committed to a quest gets -1 willpower until the end of the phase. And shadow effect, when raise defending player's threat by 4, or by 8 if the attack is undefended. You also have only 1 of these guys, the Hummer Horns, 40 engagement, 1 threat, 2 attack, 0 defense, 3 health. Forced, after Hummer Horns engages you, deal 5 damage to a single hero you control, which will kill almost every hero you've got, or I should say any hero you've got. Shadow, deal 1 damage to each character the defending player controls, 2 damage instead if the attack is undefended. You can see he's worth 5 victory points. Moving on to the locations, 5 total location cards. You're going to get 2 of these. The Great Forest Web, 2 threat, 2 progress tokens required. Travel, each player must exhaust 1 hero he controls to travel here. Next, you're going to have 3 of these. The Mountains of Mirkwood, 2 threat, 3 progress tokens. Travel, reveal the top card of the encounter deck and add it to the staging area to travel here. Response, after Mountains of Mirkwood leaves play as an explored location, each player may search the top 5 cards of his deck for 1 card and add it to his hand. Shuffle the rest of the search cards back into the owner's deck. And then moving on to the Treacheries, you're going to have 3 total Treachery cards. Eyes of the Forest, when revealed, each player discards all event cards in his hand. Get 1 of those. And then 2 of Caught in a Web. When revealed, the player with the highest threat level attaches this card to one of his heroes. Counts as a condition attachment with the text, attached hero is not ready during the refresh phase unless you pay 2 resources from that hero's pool. The next deck we're going to look at is Journey Down the Anduin. This has 9 total cards. 3 of them are going to be enemies, and all of them are this one, Misty Mountain Goblins. 15 engagement, 2 threat, 2 attack, 1 defense, 3 health. Forced, after Misty Mountain Goblins attacks, remove 1 progress token from the current quest. The shadow effect, remove 1 progress token from the current quest, 3 progress tokens if the attack is undefended. Moving on to the locations, and there's 5 total location cards. This one, the Banks of Anduin, you're going to get 2 of them. There's 1 threat and 3 progress tokens required to get past it. Forced, if Banks of the Anduin leaves play, return to the top of the encounter deck instead of placing it in the discard pile. And then we've got Gladden Fields, 3 threat, 3 progress tokens required. You're going to have 3 of these cards in the deck. Forced, while Gladden Fields is the active location, each player must raise his threat by an additional point during the refresh phase. And this one has a victory points. You get 3 victory points for getting past it. And we've got the 1 treachery card in this deck, Massing at Night. When revealed, reveal X additional cards from the encounter deck. X is the number of players in the game. Shadow, deal X shadow cards to this attacker. X is the number of players in the game. Next, we'll take a look at the deck Sauron's Reach, and you're going to have 3 total enemies in this deck, enemy cards, and all of them are this enemy. Eastern Crows, 30 engagement, 1 threat, 1 attack, 0 defense, 1 health. This is a surge card. Forced. After Eastern Crows is defeated, shuffle it back into the encounter deck, and has a shadow effect of attacking enemy gets +1 attack, or +2 instead if defending player's threat is 35 or higher. There are no location cards, and this Treachery card is going to be 2 of them in the deck. Total of 7 Treachery cards total, bringing this deck to 10 cards. Pursued by Shadow. When revealed, each player raises his threat by 1 for each character he controls that is not currently committed to a quest. Shadow. Defending player chooses and returns 1 exhausted ally he controls to its owner's hand. If he controls no exhausted allies, raise his threat by 3. You get 2 of these. Treacherous Fog. When revealed, each location in the staging area gets +1 threat until the end of the phase. Then each player with a threat of 35 or higher chooses and discards 1 card from his hand. And the final Treachery, you're going to get 3 of these. Evil Storm. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each character controlled by each player with a threat of 35 or higher. Now we're going to take a look at the Wilderlands deck. Now this deck has some of the most difficult enemies in the game, in my opinion. I really hate the enemies in this deck. We're going to start here with the Wolf Rider. You only get 1 of these guys. There are a total of 8 enemy cards in the deck. This guy has a 10 engagement, 1 threat, 2 attack, 0 defense, 2 health. And he has Surge. He also has a shadow effect. Wolf Rider attacks a defending player. That player may declare 1 character as a defender. Deal Wolf Rider its own shadow card. After combat, return Wolf Rider to the top of the encounter deck. Next, we've got the Wargs. You get 2 of these. 20 engagement, 2 threat, 3 attack, 1 defense, 3 health. Forced. If Wargs is dealt a shadow card with no effect, return Wargs to the staging area after it attacks, and has a shadow effect of attacking enemy gets +1 attack, or +2 if it's undefended. Now let's look at this guy, the Hill Troll. This guy is a huge pain. You can see you get 4 victory points for defeating him. There are 2 of these in the deck. 30 engagement, 1 threat, 6 attack, 3 defense, 9 health. This guy's a beast. Excess combat damage dealt by Hill Troll, damage that is dealt beyond the remaining hit points of the character damaged by its attack, must be assigned as an increase to your threat. So the normal method of throwing some cannon fodder in front of a really powerful enemy to buy some time is not nearly as effective with this guy. Next we've got the Marsh Adder. Fortunately there's only 1 of these. You see you can get 3 victory points for defeating him. 40 engagement, 3 threat, 4 attack, 1 defense, and 7 health. Force. Each time Marsh Adder attacks you, raise your threat by 1. And then here's this guy. At first glance, not so terrible until you really look at what he's going to be doing. 48 engagement, which means to be forced to engage him, the game's pretty much almost got to be over because you lose at 50 threat level. This guy has 2 threat, 2 attack, 0 defense, 2 health. During the encounter phase, players cannot optionally engage Goblin Sniper if there are other enemies in the staging area. So you got to engage everybody else before you can get to this guy. Forced. If Goblin Sniper is in the staging area at the end of the combat phase, each player deals 1 point of damage to 1 character he controls. So this guy will just start chipping away at your guys if you don't get through the other enemies there as well. Moving on to the locations. You have 4 location cards total. You get 2 of the East Bite. 1 threat, 6 progress tokens required to get past this one. And when faced with the option to travel, the players must travel to the East Bite if there is no active location. And you get 2 of the Brownlands. 5 threat, only requires 1 progress token. Forced, after the players travel to the Brownlands, place 1 progress token on it. So just by traveling there, you automatically get rid of it. And then we've got Despair. This is your only Treachery card. You get 2 of them. When revealed, remove 4 progress tokens from the current quest. If there are fewer than 4 progress tokens on the quest, remove all progress tokens from that quest. Shadow effect is defending character does not count its defense. The final set of cards is the Escape from Doldor deck. We're going to start with this enemy, the Cavern Guard, and you're going to get 2 of them. There's a total of 5 enemy cards in this set. You can see he has 8 engagement, 2 threat, 2 attack, 1 defense, 2 health, and doomed 1. He also has a shadow effect. Choose and discard 1 attachment you control. Discarded objective cards are returned to the staging area. If this attack is undefended, discard all attachments you control. Then, moving on to a much more difficult enemy, you get 5 victory points for beating this guy, the Dungeon Jailer. 38 engagement, 1 threat, 2 attack, 3 defense, 5 health. Forced. If Dungeon Jailer is in the staging area after the players have just quested unsuccessfully, shuffle 1 unclaimed objective card from the staging area back into the encounter deck. And then we've got the Nazgul of Doldor. 40 engagement, 5 threat, 4 attack, 3 defense, 9 health. And no attachments can be played on Nazgul of Doldor. Forced, when the prisoner is rescued, which is something specific to this scenario, move Nazgul of Doldor into the staging area. Forced, after a shadow effect dealt to Nazgul of Doldor resolves, the engaged player must choose and discard 1 character he controls. Moving on to the locations, and there's a total of 4 locations in this set. Endless Caverns, 1 threat, 3 progress tokens required, doomed 1, and Surge. And then the other location is called the Tower Gate. You get 2 of these. 2 threat, 1 progress token required. Forced. After traveling to Tower Gate, each player places the top card of his deck face down in front of him, as if it just engaged him from the staging area. These cards are called Orc Guard and act as enemies with 1 hit point, 1 attack, and 1 defense. And then moving on to the Treacheries, we're going to have 3 cards total. You get 1 of these, Iron Shackles. When revealed, attach Iron Shackles to the top of the first player's deck. Counts as a condition attachment with the text. The next time a player would draw 1 or more cards from the attached deck, discard Iron Shackles instead. Shadow, resolve the when revealed effect of Iron Shackles. So if it comes out, no matter how it comes out, it's going to the top of your deck. And you get 2 of this other Treachery, Under the Shadow. When revealed until the end of the phase, raise the total threat in the staging area by X, where X is the number of players in the game. Shadow, defending player raises his threat by the number of enemies with which he is engaged. And then there's a special card type in this set called Objective Cards. You got the Dungeon Torch here. It's guarded and restricted. Action, raise your threat by 2 to claim this objective when it is free of encounters. When claimed, attach Dungeon Torch to a hero you control. Counts as an attachment. If detached, return Dungeon Torch to the staging area. Forced, at the end of each round, raise attached hero's controller threat by 2. So these objectives really make life difficult. And you can see, let me show you the other 2 that are going to be part of this, and they're required to obtain before you can complete the scenario. Again, the Shadow Key is guarded and restricted. The action is pretty much the same. And then forced, at the end of each round, attached hero suffers 1 damage. And then we've got Gandalf's Map. That sounds good, right? Wrong. Same deal as before, guarded and restricted. Attached hero cannot attack or defend. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, this is the last part of our card close-up portion of the series. We're going to be doing a rules video soon, a gameplay video soon. That'll probably be broken up into multiple parts. I'm going to try to give you a full gameplay, but broken up multiple parts. In the past, what I've done is I've truncated the gameplay down, but I think it might be more beneficial to do a full playthrough. This is going to take multiple parts because I really can't put out more than about 20 minutes at a time, 20, 30 minutes maximum. And then we'll get a review as well. Based on my schedule, the review may come out first because where I am, you can see I'm not at home. I can do a review here. I can't really do a gameplay, and even a rules video will be difficult because I don't really have a lot of counter space for that. So we'll see what happens, and then whenever I get back home, I'll do whatever videos I haven't done yet. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my channel, please subscribe, and Board Game Breakfast, or excuse me, not Board Game Breakfast, Board Game Blender every other week. And look me up on BGG. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.